broadens his trade salvo and threatens ties with some of the country's top trading partners. So let's get more with Laura Cooper, global investment strategist at Nuveen, Rosalind Matheson, Bloomberg's EMEA news director, and Brendan Murray, who heads up our trade coverage. So thank you all for joining us. Roz, maybe let's start with you. What did we learn overnight? Because there's a muted market reaction, it seems that markets, if not given a heads up, were certainly prepared for something of the sort. Did it surpass our expectation, or were we pretty much in line with what we thought the president would do?
Well, it does fit that broad pattern of a sort of patchwork, really, of tariff announcements by this new administration in the US, but also a pattern where stuff gets announced and then maybe it gets deferred or it gets altered. And maybe that explains a bit of the market reaction today, because we actually don't know a lot of detail. We don't know when this is supposed to take effect. We don't know, for example, on China, does it add on to the 10% tariff that Donald Trump has already announced on China? Are there going to be exemptions for certain countries in the end that are negotiated out of this? So there's a lot we still don't know about what this might look like in the end. But obviously you can see from the key trading partners, the level of concern about this, including, of course, Canada, who really is standing to get hard hit on both fronts, steel and aluminum. The interesting thing, of course, is this extends the message that Trump will put tariffs on you, even if you are considered to be a US ally. So he looks at allies and adversaries in the same way when it comes to trade and business. And it doesn't matter if you're Germany or Japan or Canada or China, he might still take action against you either way.
Your financial journey starts here.
So, Brendan, who's going to be hit hard the most? I know we've seen, a move, for example, for Australian dollar. I mean, there are countries and companies that will suffer more than others.
Yeah, exactly. I think Canada is really the main target here that stands to lose the most. If you remember, in the first Trump administration, the steel tariffs were 25%, the aluminum tariffs were 10%. The president said yesterday that the aluminum tariffs are 25%, and Canada is really, a key exporter to the U.S. So we'll have to see. As Roz mentioned, there's a patchwork of trade policies being rolled out. The president deferred the 25% tariff across the board tariffs on Canada. So this bakes into the negotiation that's gonna take place. The other issue is, how will the European Union respond? That there is, as we've reported, a list of U.S. products that they will retaliate against. So the Europeans aren't saying much yet, because this was just it wasn't a formal filing of tariffs, but the Europeans will most definitely respond in a way that would target some key U.S. industries.
Brendan, I mean, it seems that it's very difficult to retaliate, because Donald Trump has also said if you retaliate, we'll go even harder on you. Does that change how you negotiate?
Yeah, definitely. The last time around, they targeted, the Europeans targeted, industries like Harley-Davidson motorcycles and bourbon and Levi jeans, kind of all-American products. This time around, they have a lot more tools to go at the U.S. with, and they've said that they've told us that they plan to use them, and they plan to use them quickly. So we could see this escalate, within days or even weeks.
Laura, why are the markets so cool about all of this?
Well, I think what we're seeing is these kind of confluence of headlines really just adds to the uncertainty facing market participants. And I think why we're seeing such a muted market reaction is because markets are incrementally becoming less sensitive to these headlines. I think markets will want to see actual outcomes on the back of this. It's not clear what the exemptions could be, whether we could see this as just a negotiating tool to get a deal. So I think at this point, markets are waiting to see clear outcomes amid this uncertainty.
So it's not that it's priced in, Laura. It's basically that they just want to make sure that they go in place instead of some kind of deferral or negotiator.
And I think one of the reasons why we've seen some equity markets outperform the U.S. year to date, which has been quite surprising, predominantly European equities, is in part because of this benign inflationary backdrop. So on the back of these steel and aluminum headlines, perhaps Europe is next in the sights. And I would suggest that that's going to potentially challenge some of this European performance that's really been underpinned by this.
And the construction industry is one of the great demand industries for steelmaking. So what? You're going to go and you're going to add these tariffs? It's not going to suddenly spur consumption in the construction industry.
That's what I was kind of confused about, the rally that we're seeing in all of these material stocks, the aluminum producers, because I'm just kind of like, well, wait a minute.
They've been really battered. They've been really,
why?
yeah, they're really battered. I mean, one of the major steel index, the S&P sub steel index, dropped by the most in 2024 since 2018. I mean, it was a terrible year. Interest rates are still there. Inflation is still a problem. And when you talk to these metal making industries, they're the bottom line cost, right? And so if their consumers are sitting there saying, yeah, just financing is way too expensive right now, we're not going to move forward with the project that we had in the pipeline.
All right.
Then, that's bad news.
Is this a commodity in the sense of the steel and aluminum you get from U.S. producers is the same as the steel and aluminum you get from producers outside of the U.S.?
Yes.
What's good,
Do customers
guys?
care where it comes from apart from price?
For the most part, no. Now, when you get into products, you get into very specific types of steel products and types of aluminum products, they do care because that is a value add. But if you're just talking raw steel making and primary aluminum making, I've heard this since I started covering this stuff 10 years ago. The Chinese do it just as well as the Americans. Everybody figured out how to make great steel forever ago. The chemistry's there. Yeah. Now, the steel makers will say, no, but our steel, this is an alloy, it is particularly better. But if you talk to actual consumers in the market, they're like, no. Like, maybe I like the buyer, who I'm buying from.
Interesting times we're in right now, guys. Definitely some interesting times we're in. The markets. There's obviously your technical analysis, and then there's your fundamental analysis. So, in these times, it's definitely an interesting environment to be in, right? You're in a very fundamental market right now. Trade wars going on. You can see some of the videos I was just kind of letting play from Bloomberg earlier this morning. And this is Bloomberg Live right now, talking about what happened today, how Donald Trump plans 25% metals tariffs. That happened today. That was the big news here today, and the market didn't the market didn't really have a negative effect of that. That's what you kind of saw they were talking about there a bit. Interesting times we're in for environment. When I say environment, I mean like the market's definitely in a really fundamental state right now with all the news, all the headlines every week. Every other day, there's new headlines. There's new headlines coming out, right? Gold sells, like I said 2 weeks ago. Those are, you're looking for more buys. You want to let sells happen so you can look for the buys. We've talked about this now for 2 weeks, right? We definitely caught on to the fact that gold is more in a strong demand phase right now. We talked about that for the last 2 weeks now. With the trade wars and overall market uncertainty, it's acting as a safe haven because, Donald Trump just took office January 20th, and already, boom, boom, boom. Look what's going on. You got a lot of action, a lot of different headlines every week coming out, every other day. The market doesn't really know what's happening so soon. Are we, what if the world enters trade war? It looks like that could be happening, right? Mexico, if you saw what we talked about this last week too as well. Mexico, Canada, China, Brazil, Taiwan, and Canada and Mexico and China just last week and coming into February, right? There was the trade war news with that, but Canada and Mexico negotiated with the states to maybe work together, maybe pause it for 30 days. But now you got this deal, right? So, you got this whole steel plan coming up today. And Trump said, he did say, if countries retaliate, we're gonna, you know, well, I don't know how he worded it, but we're gonna retaliate, you know, like they said that, right? You heard them say that. Maybe that lady or one of these, I think it was her, she was mentioning it, or one of them were talking about it. So more, you know, creating more uncertainty as well. So when you talk about gold, right? We've mentioned this coming into the month, right? That's why I take my time with things. You notice, like, you guys are always like, where you guys are fiending for trades always. Last week, I kind of did this, like February 3rd, I kind of did the same thing I did this week. Kind of taking my time with things. Like, okay, see where the market starts off for Monday. You know, if you were on the charts market open last night, you might have been able to just catch buy. Like, you would have, like, look what the market did for open on gold. It moved up a lot on market open. So unless you were like there on market open watching last night, you know, sells today, a timely thing, New York session. I still don't think sells are the thing you want to be always looking for in this market. Like, they can happen. There's still demand for gold. I don't think it's just gonna, you know, go. There's no signs of a trend shift yet. I said that last week. I said that the week before. On every drop we've done, we were buying it on Friday, by the way. Friday morning we bought. Every time it's kind of dropped, I've said the same thing. Like, it hasn't shown a trend shift yet. If you were with me, crazy, because I kept the charts. I didn't move the charts here. We were live right here. Some of you guys were live with me Thursday night. Why is it not going forward? That's weird. Replay speed. That's weird. What's up with replay mode? Ah. Why are you doing that, replay mode? Why is it being like that? Why is it doing that? I have something weird. I have something wrong. My replay mode is being weird. It's never done that. Anyway, we were here before NFP. We were here on NFP. Same zone. I probably have settings. I'm not going to try to figure it out right now. It might take me like 3 minutes. So I've mentioned on several streams, watch out for sells. More demand, more uncertainty. And gold could keep pushing up. So really just like try to look for those buys. Maybe even hold those buys. Right, let your winners run. It's a good learning month where you see when gold can trend. When there's a direction with an asset or a market, letting winners run. I bet for me, if I go back, you know, I bet some of us can relate here. I bet some of us can relate. Like, if I go back to my history and look at some of the entries I had, it's like, damn, should have let some winners run, right? That's, you know, a trending month. I'll show you guys some stuff on the charts in a minute, but we've talked a lot about this stuff, guys, with the whole trade war stuff going on, the whole China, all this stuff. There's good news, bad news. It's like, there's good news. It's like, what is going on? Nobody really knows yet, because also it's just starting off so early. If you looked at the last couple of years, guys, Ukraine, Russia, everything going on in the East, with all the crises and conflicts, look how long those have lasted, right? Look how long, like, COVID lasted. Look how long, you know, the Ukraine-Russia crisis has been lasting, and these wars going on. Cease attacks, ceasefires, everything. This is, you know, look how we entered February, you know? Once, a couple weeks after Trump takes office, boom, trade wars. Because I heard him talking, he's like, why are we, so he was like, something about Canada. He was like, Canada costs us $200 billion a year. Or something like that. I was like, something like this. And these countries, I'm like, man, this guy's basically going to war with these tariffs. So it might be a whole nother, what I'm saying is it might be a whole nother, think about the Ukraine-Russia situation. That's lasted as long as it's lasted. Whether Putin, whatever, think he wants to end that? Probably not. So, when it comes down to it, this is like a whole new, maybe it's trade wars, potentially. It's creating more demand for an asset like gold. If we just back out, if we zoom out on gold, what has gold always been? When you study the properties of gold physically and what it is, you know, we could say psychologically, what it is, what it means to people, right? Since 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, modern day, 20th century, right? It's always act as its nature, right? Physical demand, safe asset, something that, you know, people can hold. You go to a country like India, big country like India, what are people wearing on their hands, their neck? They're wearing a lot of their wealth on them. A very big populated country like that. So when you look at gold, it's always gone up. In times, you know, if you study gold in the last couple of years and think about the events that have happened in the last couple of years, right? COVID literally was 2020. We all know and remember COVID-19. That started right here where these red candles are. So literally right here, you have the beginning of COVID when the whole world started going crazy. Ever since then, gold has gone up, right? Around here in 2022, that's when the Ukraine-Russia crisis started. And then way back over here is when the next war started. So like, and then even over here. So when you look at like literally like crises, conflicts that have happened in the world, you have one here that began. You have another one here on top of inflation. You have one here, and you have the worst one, really terrible, what started literally right here. That week, what started that week, terrible, in October on a weekend. So like literally ever since then, gold has gone up. It's bad to say, right? When you consider, if you know what happened on October 2023, the first couple weeks of October, right? Literally that week, since that conflict really started rising, crisis, everything. Through there, gold has made it to almost $3,000. So it's not, when you think about cryptocurrencies, fast. So Bitcoin is fast. Why is it fast? Well, it's 24/7, right? And it's much faster for like, okay, like I could go on my phone, boom, send Bitcoin, done. Can't do that with gold, right? So Bitcoin's fast. You know, more. Gold on steroids, right? Basically, faster market, right? Like the internet. The internet's fast. Bitcoin is the internet digitally, right? You could say, like, think of Facebook on a bank. So Bitcoin is a much faster digital. Jerome Powell refers to Bitcoin as digital gold. If you guys know, who knows who Jerome Powell is, type in one in the chat if you know who that is. So Jerome Powell, you guys got to get to know who this guy is, because when he speaks, the markets listen to what he says. The markets listen to what this guy says, right? Jerome Powell, he actually referred to, and if you don't know who he is, you gotta kind of get familiar with this old man. You gotta get familiar with this old guy. We call him Grandpa, but don't let him underestimate. This guy can tear shit up. If you're not disciplined, he might wreck your account, yo. If you don't know who he is, he might. Yo, you gotta pay attention to when he speaks. Gold is melting. Really? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's melting. How's it melting? Explain to me how it's melting right now. Like, zoom out. Like, how's it? It's really melting. You're confusing me. I'm confused. Let me look at the daily. Yeah, it's definitely melting on the daily, right? The weekly. Yeah, oh yeah, she's melting. I don't see what you're saying. If you're looking at a 1 minute, maybe, yeah. I wouldn't consider this melting. I wouldn't really consider this melting, right? I wouldn't say gold is melting right now, right? I wouldn't be thinking like that. I wouldn't be thinking because it's high. It's high for a reason. There's a reason it's high in price, right? It's high because there's demand, right? So you got to be thinking of like, obviously there's technical. We could look at the technicals and be like, yeah, this thing's super high. It might be making a head and shoulders formation on the 30 minute with the left, right? You might be getting your head and shoulders. You know price is really high. You get your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder potentially in the middle, right? So it could come down and retrace. Then once it starts doing that, I'd be like, yeah, then it's melting. I'd rather wait for retracements on gold, right? Let it retrace and see if I can catch maybe another buy setup. When you're looking at a 30 minute, you might assume like, yeah, maybe some sells could come, right? All right, I wouldn't say there's a trend shift yet on gold. I'm gonna go over analysis on it this session and tonight. I wouldn't look at it like it's melting, because anyone who thought gold is melting here wasn't setting themselves up for the buy, because it's in an uptrend. So if you think about it, most retail traders, when gold was dropping here, would have been like, it's dumping. Oh my gosh, it's selling. Meanwhile, we were getting ready for the buys. So yeah, like when you look at like, is it melting? I wouldn't say it's melting. I would say prices has demand right now for reasons. It's where it should be with everything going on. The price action you're seeing on gold matches the bigger picture of everything going on in the world. When you're looking at gold every other week, every other day, you're like, oh my God, it keeps going up, it keeps going up. That's normal right now. Don't think of that as unnormal, as the market's weird. No, the market's do it. The market is definitely in a strong demand phase right now with the trade wars, right? I mentioned that on February 3rd, right? So still safe haven, like if things escalate too, like if 30 days from now, boom, some news comes out. This is happening with China. China extent, boom. But escalation creates more uncertainty as well. And with this type of market, this is different than a currency pair. So you could trade gold and relate gold like to currency pairs, but it's an asset, right? It's in Forex. Like you could trade XAUUSD for exchange, right? It's on most Forex brokers, right? But it's not going to be always similar to looking at like a Euro USD or an AUD USD all the time. In practical terms, guys, you can use same strategies you use on Euro USD and such like that on gold, vice versa, right? On different markets. Gold is an asset. It's a physical thing. It's global world. It's not the euro versus the US dollar. Right, so in times of uncertainty, which happens, this is why like kind of being a trader, that's why I like to just focus on gold, because if things are going bad, you kind of know what the trend is for gold. It's kind of easy to say, maybe bad to say. If things are going bad in the world, gold's usually gonna have more demand. I've seen it time and time again with the years of watching gold. Then, when you watch your news, you see your CNN, your regular news stuff. Bloomberg's really good to watch, right? So you got Bloomberg Live. You can go on Bloomberg Live. Usually these days, like when you're on like Twitter or Instagram, you always get these headlines, right? Social media, these headlines, news headlines, right? You always get these every week, these new headlines coming out. So these headlines always create different times of euphoric sentiment for different people. It's always like new headline. Oh, BlackRock bought this. Oh, this cryptocurrency, this every day. Boom, 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 boom. There's always so much euphoric tension built up frequently, right, in the market right now. These headlines, they come out that what the large majority expects the headlines to do, it usually happens opposite or doesn't happen when the large majority expects it now, because we have all these headlines, all this positive news, good news. It's like, okay, you expect this to happen. When those types of things are happening, you have like maybe a large majority, right? And maybe a smaller minority that aren't so like, okay, the headlines, I gotta buy. The headlines, I gotta buy. Because the headlines, you can see what's going on in the market, especially with like altcoins. Bitcoin, still above 100K a little bit, right? Where's most of the fear in crypto right now? So, a thing that I like to see is this. Might be a fearful time for most. Well, here's the thing I personally like to see. It's kind of where we're at right now. And we haven't been here since September. September was the last really big low we formed. So we're getting in a fearful stage now. We haven't been fearful. We haven't hit fear since September. I like to see this. Maybe not everybody does. Because I can stomach it. I've been through it. I've been through everything in crypto since Bitcoin was $1,000. So I like to see this. Not everyone does. It's a time where a lot of things can be bleeding out, especially meme coins, altcoins. Meme coins, altcoins, alternative coins. Times like this is where Bitcoin still will be maybe worth something, right? In terms of Bitcoin, right? Like you might have one unit of Bitcoin or X unit of Bitcoin versus X units of some other coin right now, right? In terms of units, how much units you own of the asset, right? It's like if I own 1,000 of this coin or 100 of this tokens versus the unit that of Bitcoin, it holds its value even in times of fear, right? So people always ask me, how do I get into crypto? Well, you want to stay kind of in a community that just like streams like this until you learn the language. Like you might hear some words that you're like unfamiliar with, right? Kind of just stay a part of like a learning phase until you're like, okay, I get this. I know what a wallet is. I know what a crypto exchange is. I know what decentralized is. I know what different coins are. I know how to send crypto, receive crypto, convert crypto, right? I know you like kind of work things, like get familiar with things. I think when it comes down to like the first crypto I ever bought was Bitcoin. For me, I think most people start there. It's usually Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? I think to find those meme coins at 100x, 50x, because believe me, I've had coins that have gone from $700 to $36,000. I've had coins that went from 2K to 80K. I've had coins that went from 10K to 390K. You have to stay a part of the game to get those. You can't just jump into crypto, let me find that coin that hits. No, man. Those come in cycles. Right? Those come in cycles. You'll find those. I think like starting off, it's better to just stack Bitcoin. Like just because the longer you're in Bitcoin, the longer you'll be in the market, and then eventually you'll be able to find those coins in between. Those coins come in cycles. Like if you have 0 to 12 here, and 0 to 12 represents the year, those coins are going to come in cycles throughout the year. They're not going to come every time you're looking. They're going to just come, they're going to fall in your lap, basically. Sui was one for me. Probably the most recent one for me was Sui. And it was just kind of doing everyday activity that I do. And that was in September when I say most recent. That kind of just fell on me that I was like, okay, let me see what we got here. Let me see what this is. I bought Sui at 80 cents. That was a banger for me. But it kind of just came from doing the same thing I do every week. Right? Doing the same kind of natural thing every week. Not, always trying to look for the 10x, the 50x, the 100x coin. Those will come at different times as long as you stay the longer curve, right? I like to call it the equity curve, right? Like the more time you're in something, participating in something, so your foot's in the door, I like to call it. Because only the game's really going to teach you the game at the end of the day. So your foot kind of needs to be in the door at the end of the day, right? To kind of know the game. Those coins, like 10x coins, even like 5x coins, is beautiful. Like if you can, a good plan, Inner Circle is going to learn a lot about this on the first session. So like a good plan is like just trying to stack BTC, 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 right? Because let's just say I have one Bitcoin, for example. I'm just going to use one as an example. Now, one's obviously a lot of money, but just to put things into perspective, and I'm going to use a different number after. So let's just say I have one Bitcoin. I have one unit. That one unit could be worth different prices, fractions of that one unit, right? Like 10%, so a 0.1, 10% of a unit, right? If you think about one Bitcoin 8 months ago, right? 8 months ago was a different price. A year ago was a different price. One unit and 10% of one unit was a different price. So if I have like one Bitcoin, right? Just one Bitcoin. That's like in my portfolio. I can grow this Bitcoin with one. All I need is one or two other coins now, for instance. And it doesn't have to be one Bitcoin. You could use 0.1. I'm going to do a different number for an example. If I have one Bitcoin, for example, all I need is two or three other coins to grow that one Bitcoin. Because alternative coins are going to move faster than Bitcoin, right? You might see you might allocate 10% of that one Bitcoin you have. So let's say I have one Bitcoin and I allocate 10% of it to another coin, an alternative coin. Maybe something that moves faster in a shorter period of time, right? I take that 10% from my one Bitcoin. This is not financial advice, just a game blueprint to put stuff into perspective for you. Remember, everything on this channel is educational, right? I'm not saying you have to do this. You could take from this and learn, right? That 0.1 can help me work the one I already have higher. Because if I throw it into maybe an alternative coin that runs 20%, I can increase my 0.1. I'm trying to increase that 0.1 now. I'm trying to grow the 0.1. Because I still have 90% of a Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin could be at different prices. If I do the math differently, if I go, okay, if I have a 0.1 of Bitcoin, right? Say I have only a 0.1. Say I only have 10% of a Bitcoin. What's 10% of that, right? At this point, you got 10% would be $9,700 of 0.1. So 10% of that would be like $970. I still have, I still have 0.9, right, of that. But I'm working that 0.1 to try to grow the 0.1 quicker. Clip an alternative coin on a dip. Maybe it grows 10%. Maybe it grows 20% quick. That's how you grow without having to keep it. That's how you grow with what you have. But you don't want to be so spread out. A growing stage like that, if you're spread out in 20 different coins, 10 different coins, it's going to be harder because when the market flushes down, your 20% of coins have now dropped in value versus one overall, right? If I have 15 coins, 10 coins, and one of them's Bitcoin, but 9 others I have, and I have a small percentage in Bitcoin, my Bitcoin's going to hold value in times like this, but all the 9 other are going to be way down versus the Bitcoin in terms of dollar value, right? So if you're so spread out, doing a plan like this is going to emotionally not be good for you because when a market dips, you're going to have so many coins that are in the red. Your Bitcoin would be up like, oh yeah, the Bitcoin's up still. But it'd be like, all these coins are down. I got to wait for them to go back up because the value dropped a lot compared to Bitcoin, right? Gold's not going to drop 20% in a month. Gold's not like Bitcoin. You're not going to see gold. So when you look at Bitcoin, obviously, remember I said not too long ago, faster, right? Much more faster version of gold. Jerome Powell, I'm sticking to what old grandpa said, man. If grandpa Forex said that, compares it to that, then I'm gonna say that's what I've compared it to always. Grandpa tells us that And Grandpa's old, man. You know, this is our grandpa, so maybe he's giving us a hint. Maybe he's like, you know, wink, wink. You know, he's never said that up until these days. Like, so maybe he's like, you know, he's looking old. He's a little hint to the world. Digital gold. Only 21 million. Millions of them are already lost. Remember the guy? Remember the guy whose girlfriend threw out his ledger? There was a guy. Maybe I'll find it. You guys ever see that guy? You should see the interview. All you see is pain in his eyes. I'll find the picture. There's Bitcoin that's lost. Like, there's a guy whose girlfriend threw out his ledger. And, oh man, he broke up with her. Because he was a whale. Like, I'm talking whale. Like, he had a lot of flipping Bitcoin. Like, it would be worth like $1 billion right now. She threw out 8,000 Bitcoin. His wife. This guy had pain. Like, this isn't the picture. Like, look at his eyes, girl. Look at his eyes. That's pain. That's pain. His wife or girlfriend, like, threw out his ledger in the garbage and the seed. I think it was an accident, but you know, the seed phrase or something. Thought it was some like stupid USB drive that they didn't need. You know, one of those ex-girlfriend, like, I think it was like, you know, one of those drawers you have at your mom's house that just has a bunch of wires in it or something, maybe like that. Or you know when you like open a drawer and it's like got a bunch of like chargers in it, and you're like, I don't need this junk. Yeah, so like this guy was like a not even a 1%er, like a point, like he was like bigger than a whale. Like, this guy had like 8,000 Bitcoin, and he went to the landfill. He purchased the landfill where the garbage went to, so he could do a full like try to find it. No, so it would have been worth like 784 million. When she threw it out, it was worth like 180 million. Yeah. That's Bitcoin that's always lost. That's gone. That's gone. Like, that's gone forever. So if you ever lost something, like, just remember this guy, man. See the pain in his eyes? It made him go big. Like publicity. He got big publicity, but like, you can see the pain in his eyes. Yeah, I give out trade ideas. I'll tell. Usually, like on Friday we bought gold live. It was a scary situation for most because it was a volatile time. Some people are new to that type of trading. But we bought gold. We were buying gold's NFP on Friday on this. We bought this. We bought the dip. It actually came back and then came up all week. So yeah, someone said gold is melting. I wouldn't say melting. I'd say when you look at price, you're above 2,900 now. So 2,900 is a psychological number, right? So in terms of these numbers, they work as like thresholds and barriers, kind of floors and ceilings, right? If you're above, you know, the market's gone above 2,900, so that tells me there's demand there in the market because we've broken above 2,900. We didn't have any really sell pressure at 2,900, came more above it. So in terms of speaking, when we're looking at the chart like this, 2,900 is a psychological price, right? We know that. For those of you guys who tune in with me, you know what I'm talking about. I don't really have to explain it. For those of you guys that are new, make sure you subscribe, plug in, because we're here every day. We're going to be back tonight in... What time is it? We'll be back tonight in like 7 hours. So like the market, 2,900 is kind of like, okay, an area that we broke above. Like when you look at 2,900, and when I teach this to you guys a lot here on the streams, if you've plugged in, like we've been here live for like a month now. So yeah, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We've been popping here live every day since January, first week of January, if I'm not mistaken. I've been saying since the first session, the first 2 sessions we did, gold is bullish. Even some of the sessions I was looking for sells and like, okay, it's gonna go down. Like I was still saying, like, yeah, like you could still just wait. Like there's so many sessions I was saying you could just ignore the sells, wait for drops, run it up for buys. So I do give them out on live sessions, live analysis. I'll let you guys know sometimes when I'm entering a trade. I'm here all the time, live every day, so it just depends on if there's a good setup in front of us. I'm more quality over quantity, but there can be weeks and days where I just rip it like more aggressively. So, like I focus on, I wanna, you know, it's not I wanna try to make you guys money all the time, but I also want to make sure you guys don't lose money. That's one of my goals too, right? So it's not always about, as much as it's about making money too, I want to make sure we're always defensive too, not getting ahead of the market as well, right? Pain, someone says, skids. Yeah, that's pain right there. There's another picture. You got to see there's a different picture you got to see. This is one of them. There's another one I've seen, or maybe just a better quality, where it's just like you see the pain in his eyes, where he's getting like interviewed and he's sitting in a chair. So, I mean, like, looking at price right now, like, as long as we kind of stay above 2,900, 2,890 area, I think gold could maintain more bullish. Like, I might just be looking to see if the trend continues, because this whole trade war, if you're on at the beginning, I want to, that's why I want to see how the market, because there's a lot of news on the weekend, too. There's a lot of news this past week. We're going to be on tonight covering some more stuff. Like, I wanted to play that at the beginning, because literally it was like, see how the market hits for this week. Look what happened the first week of last week, like the first days of last week, how it's like boom, we just get hit with what happens. So I played this at the beginning. For those that don't know, there's Trump planning with more tariffs on metals now. Metals tariffs. So that's steel, platinum, I think they said, or steel and aluminum. Steel and aluminum. It's gonna affect Canada, because Canada like uses, like, that's the thing, like, look at Canada, they use US. So interesting, like what some of these US is, I think US is trying to take over Canada and Mexico. I think US wants Canada. Some interesting stuff going on now. We just got hit with the week, like bam, like damn. Now they give. If you're a new trader, so let me say one more thing too. I gotta get off in like 10 minutes, so if you guys have any questions, we'll be back on in 7 hours. If you guys have any questions, type them in the chat. You're above 2,900, like it's kind of watching to see if you stay above 2,900. Or if the market takes out these lows, sets up for a buy, like buy the dip. I'm still going to look for like a buy the dip scenario. If it comes down more, like 2,900 could hold, potentially. We can see we're above 29. It didn't have, like you see it hit 2,900. No rejection candles there. It just went straight through it, above it. Like 1 hour, 30 minute, 15. Like it didn't do anything. It literally broke above 2,900 and then played above it. So I think like maintaining 2,900 could be key to see. 2,890 at the lowest. So you could use 2,900, 2,980, like 2,900, 2,895. If that zone doesn't hold, 2,890 at the lowest. 2,900 could still hold. It looks like there's still demand on gold potentially. If there's dips lower. We'll be back on tonight to see if there is any dips lower. We're going to be back on at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Check out the YouTube videos if you're new. There's a lot of them on the channel already. Inner Circle, I'm not going to be getting back to any more DMs. Like if you've heard from me already, I'll stay in contact with you, but like if I've messaged you already, I'll stay in contact with you. We're already pretty full now for Inner Circle. I think we're actually above 100. I think it's like 102 people now. So we actually hit the 100 people already. Couple people I'm still in contact. Like I've been in contact with some people. So if you're waiting on a DM, I gotta accept your message request or your friend request. I'll probably do that at the end of the week because we gotta focus on the charts now. Look for some trades. Trading week, new trading week. But if you're in the Inner Circle, you already hear from me. I'm gonna post some updates in the Inner Circle tonight, some blueprints and stuff. There's already some videos. Tomorrow I'll upload, what day is it? Monday, yeah, Tuesday. Tomorrow I'll upload 3 more videos in there for you guys that are in there. But if you've been in contact with me already, like some people I'm already in contact with that didn't join, there's still time left. Once you join, you'll see how it goes. It's, again, private. You'll literally see from the first call I do, for those of you guys that are in it, the first call we do, which is scheduled on the calendar. Private, you'll see from the first call what I'm talking about. The first call we do, you'll see exactly what like, for those of you guys in, the first call we do, the first stream we do, the first Inner Circle stream we do, you guys will literally see, oh, this is what he meant. Trust. I see. But yeah, like probably if I'm in contact with you, I'll get back to some Discord DMs tonight. But if you didn't hear from me, probably like end of the week. If I'm in contact with you already, like if I've messaged you already, I'll reach back. Like I've been messaging some of you. But I got like 500 DMs. I'm not gonna that's gonna take hours to go through the weeks. Gonna chill, focus on the charts for the week, make some money on the charts. You know, I want to have a good week. Want to try to make 10, 20K a week on the charts. So that's my job. You know, that's time. That takes a lot. That's like, you know, trying to have a good trading week. So weekends I usually get back. Some of you guys messaged me like 8 times. So your message some of you guys messaged me so many times that your message just kept going down, 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 down. I started with the people who messaged, I went to the bottom where it said 6 days ago, 7 days ago, where it was just one message. I didn't realize Discord did that. Some of you guys have spammed me that your message just got filtered out, that I can't even see it because I have so, like, so Inner Circle is lifetime. I'll do 3 in the year, probably. Like, it'll be maybe next one 6 months from now. Maybe next one 6 to 8 months from now. Like, a lot, like, not frequently. And those who are in will see why when all the content's up, and then when I do the next one. You guys will see. How do I select who joins? Whoever's just quick. Whoever action takers quick. And I literally went to my DMs and started from where it said like the 6 days ago message. But some people messaged me 6 days, 7 days ago, but they kept spamming me that their message it didn't get filtered how I was going one by one. Time charts, 2900 could hold. Yeah, from potentially 2900. I'll probably post this chart in the Discord. Like, if you notice the charts I post, I want to keep them accurate. Like, if you go through them, they've been pretty on point. So, you know, trying to provide accuracy, good markups, because we got the long game. We're playing the long game, right? We want to play the long game in trading, right? We'll miss stuff. It's normal. You can't be emotionally attached to missing stuff. You got to kind of let that emotion go. If you have FOMO, just know that will happen. If you experience FOMO in trading, how to recognize it. Well, you can recognize it easily if you chase trades, if you know, if you know you should have been entering at the whole number and price moves 50 pips and then you enter. Maybe that's FOMOing, like, I could have entered here, but now I'm entering way higher, like, after it made the move. Like, FOMO, like, you just have to know it will happen. If you take 100 trades, or if there's 100 setups in the year, yeah, well, okay, maybe you're gonna miss some. That's gonna happen. So naturally, you just have to know it's gonna happen. Just try to eliminate it that way by knowing it's just gonna be a part of the process. Like, okay, I just gotta get over it. It's gonna happen, right? I'll miss trades. I'll miss moves, right? We talked about this. I even said it could break above 28.75 and retest it. Did I take that chart off? I did even say, like, the 28.75 was a key level to watch. In the moment, it broke above it and retested. We were here. I even posted this. We were here. I was saying this zone, or I was saying it flushes down to find buys, right? I was saying it's either going to hold this zone, or I could see the market trying to find volume here at the lows, like try to reach for volume down, right? Reach down to go up. I said that on that session, and I said it on NFP. Right, when we were live there, I said it's either gonna, work this or come down to come up. I followed my plan. That's why I took that buy on NFP. So I think maybe today, kind of seeing if market holds 2,900, or I would see 28. It could come down, so it could come down to 28.90. So it's a pretty decent move, but I want to watch for retracements more, like see if the market holds more demand still. Still early in the week. Market already started off literally Sunday. They literally buy the dip. See how they end Friday? They'll do this on Fridays. Go on, man, like there's a lot. That's why if you've been tuning in, some of you guys have been learning a lot since January. If you've been tuning in, there's some really key gem. Like if you're new, all of January, there's so much key stuff that I've talked about that we could always keep talking about. For instance, look what they did Friday. For those of you guys that know, if you know, you know, right? What did they do Friday? They literally dumped it before market close. They always do. They'll do that. Like they'll do it in a tricky, fishy way, right? They probably know that we know this stuff now. They know we know. So they always, like, Friday sells happen. It's just sometimes a timely thing. When does it happen? How does it happen? The Friday sells, they literally dumped it Friday to start the market lower for market open. Imagine, that's where market open. That could be, imagine if we go up all week and we come back to there at the end of the week. Imagine if at some point, imagine end of the week we finish there. Somehow, like, we finish where we started. That'd be, imagine. They always do that. They're fishy. What's the best session? Well, gold's really versatile. I've talked about it on my sessions and even in some videos on the YouTube where kind of, I wouldn't say there's a best session. Like scalping can be seconds to minutes, where you could literally enter something once you get out. It can move in any session, like Tokyo, late Tokyo, London session, and New York. Like it doesn't really have a singular best time. There's times where it can move more, but more movement doesn't necessarily mean the best. Like it could still have good reactions in Tokyo session off the whole numbers, or pre-London session, New York. Like because how big of an asset and market it is, it's not just like a GBP. It's not like NZD JPY or an NZD pair where it's going to experience most of its volume in NZD times, or it's a global thing where, like, yeah, the UK market, the London market moves, the Australian and Tokyo market moves, and the New York market, US market moves, right? Australia, a lot of mining goes on in Australia for gold as well. A lot of gold mining partakes in that part of Australia. So gold, in terms of movement and volume and time of day, it's global to the sessions, like with your forex market hours. Yeah, it did already react up 2900, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it could maintain it and hold it. Like, it may be able to maintain and stay above 2900, I think, from the looks of things right now as we kind of just look at price. So it's slower hours, so you're gonna get this consolidation, chill. Maybe it breaks out up into Tokyo, or you get, you know, some lower prices from here closer to 2900. I replied to some of you guys in Discord. I was saying Discord. If you've been on my streams, I was saying message me on Discord. That's where I'm working at, because my IG gets the most random messages too. Discord was the place I've been saying every stream since I talked about this. Message me on Discord. I'm going to be going through Discord first. There'll be more inner circles. It's lifetime. I just don't have time right now to go through every DM. So weekend I'll get back to everybody that's kind of waiting for a reply. Don't worry. We got to trade. We got to stream. We got to, we got to look at these charts, find some moves, find some trades too. 2900's holding, so I like this chart. So yeah, like, I like to do the, in the Discord, I aim for like quality, good markups, so maybe this is a good one to post. I like this 2900 level holding. We got 2895 down here. I have some areas some price levels to keep an eye on if the market dips back to them. Still looks like there's demand for gold. I'll get back to you guys. I'll get back to my Discord messages tonight. We have another stream tonight, so a little bit before that stream and then afterwards. We have another stream tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time, so I'll be back literally in 7 hours, guys, here to check out gold. Maybe see if there's any crypto news to update on. I know every week it's kind of the same thing hitting the market. The same type of news, big news, like a lot of different news this week. Like every week, that's kind of the same stuff. Japan's first and only public listed Bitcoin treasury company, Metaplan. Yeah, Japan has that stock's going crazy. The Japan stock that does what, there's a Japan stock that does what MicroStrategy does. That thing's booming. Like what MicroStrategy does with Bitcoin Reserve with their stock, MicroStrategy's been buying per usual. Yeah. Upping their balance. Their average price is increasing too. Their average buy price is increasing. Average buy now 65,000. He understands. This is a billionaire. Remember, if you watch his videos, he's a billionaire. So if you listen to the way he talks, he's educating. There's a billionaire educating people too. He's not just a regular guy, like a regular guy. That he's a billionaire, right? Go listen to the way he talks, right? Like he's educated. He knows what he's talking about. But his goal like from all the videos I've watched with him, he wants as much Bitcoin as he can. He doesn't care. He understands there's only X amount. I will just buy as much Bitcoin as I can. I will keep buying Bitcoin as long as I can. Whoever sells their Bitcoin, I'll buy it. I think if he could buy all the Bitcoin right now, he would. I think if he could buy as much Bitcoin as he could and would right now, he would. One person. That just shows you a lot. And the thing about Bitcoin is it comes out over time. How its supply is created over time. and how over time the supply decreases in terms of how it comes out on a daily basis. And supply is limited. So if one guy's just trying to buy as many this guy's probably trying to buy 5 million Bitcoin himself. He wants 1 million Bitcoin himself. BlackRock has 1 million. So interesting when it gets to that big supply shock years. Who knows? That's why I always say Bitcoin's number one for a reason. But we'll be back tonight, guys. We got lots to talk about tonight. Tap in, tap in, tap in. Gold update tonight. We'll see if there's any things setting up tonight. This is some analysis for tonight or for now. Market's gonna be slow for the next hour. It'll just chill for literally, like, it won't do much. 6 p.m. is when it opens, so 3 hours from now, once it closes, it'll be slow. It's slow these hours. You don't want to be maybe looking for trades 7, 8 p.m., 8, 9, 10 p.m. Kind of when I'm going live. That's why I'm coming back 10 p.m. See where it's at. I'll be back then. Peace out, peace out, peace out. I'll see you guys on next stream.